Oh, shit, I had the microphone muted. No matter. Alright, so here we are, back again. I should say I am sick. I caught a cough, or... So I caught something, and I have a really bad cough. Sucking on a cough drop right now, but I have no idea how much that's going to do, or how long it's going to last. Yeah. Um... Yeah, I totally forgot to download the new update until, like, just as we were getting started. I don't even know if the audio is working. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't even check. Oh my god. So, tonight, what are we talking about? Sure. Because, yeah, I have bought the DLC. Such a pain in the ass. So tonight, we've got the Nintendo Direct, of course. We've got plenty of things to chat about there. There's a little wee bit of PlayStation news that I just kind of want to briefly mention. And then, Amiibos. We got Amiibos tonight, so that should be, the final set. Alright, let's see what these guys have to say. Listen up, it's going down. Deep Cut, Anarchy Splatcast. Update. Honestly, like, the biggest things I expected to get, like, a nerf. Pencil, Zuka, didn't get touched at all. Pencil meta still reigns supreme. Chill season goes... Oh, the chill season ends on the 29th. Would this be a rumor about the spaced out wrenches packing in Gopla Square? I've seen a few people from Inconkolo Square and Turf War are punching the clock. Hey, that's right. Now that you think about it, what's up? Find out how rad the Splatlands are and throw it in the towel? I know, we should go live from Incompolo Square to get the truth. Big man, are you just angling for a way to expense a trip to Incompolo Square? I just thought it'd be cool for our viewers to see another side of Inkopolis. Some current battle stages. I gotta remember to do that. That's it for now. Plattsville, that's a wrap. Trains even runs to Inkopolis Square. Although something fishy is going on there. Call whenever you want to get involved. So that is totally a thing we can do. But we're going to do that tomorrow. Right? I'm assuming that's all the DLC stuff. And I'm going to wait until tomorrow to do it. I mean, we can already see an Agent 8 right there. There's another. So yes, I did, since last time, I did buy the DLC. Right, so we're here in Plaza? I'll be honest, I can't remember which is which anymore. I know Plaza, Square, and then whatever the third one is. I fucking did it. So yeah. But no, so I do want to do the DLC, but we will do the DLC tomorrow. Don't know how much of it we're going to do, but we'll do some of it. What the fuck was it? I legitimately don't remember that at all. So yeah, we'll get around to that eventually. So yeah, we got Amiibos, we got Nintendo Direct, and we're gonna talk about Hazbin Hotel, because I finally did get around to watching it, and yeah, you know, I've got some thoughts, I guess. Definitely not as hot a takes as other people will have, because I'll be honest, I know VivziePop has a lot of controversy behind it, and I'll be honest, I don't know any of it. Like, outside of knowing there is a controversy, oh, look at that, that's so fucking funny. I could not actually tell you what any of the controversy is, other than the fact that there is a controversy. So yeah, we'll get to that. I do have a little game news. Not much, honestly. And yeah, I think that's it. Anything else? I'm sure there is like one other thing, but I cannot think of it. So I guess let's get into the Nintendo Direct. So, we knew there was going to be a Nintendo Direct. My guess at the time had been a, right, when I was expecting a full-on Nintendo Direct. And then because of the Xbox stuff last week, I am still 100% convinced that there was going to be a full-on Nintendo Direct that got delayed. And then it became a partner showcase. Because at a certain point, like, you know, the Splatoon information, the Princess Peach information, there were a few other game information last week that Nintendo just dropped on Twitter with no real setup or anything. So I have to assume all of that was going to be in a Direct that, you know, just kind of got scrapped. Also, pre-orders for Paper Mario and Luigi's Mansion went up today, and I don't know if that means anything. Like, I don't think it does, but that did happen today. So yeah, but so instead of getting a full Nintendo Direct like I had predicted, we just got a partner showcase, which made sense. You know, it was kind of inevitable. And the actual partner showcase, I think, was actually pretty decent. Like, it wasn't one of the best, you know, things Nintendo has ever done, but it also wasn't terrible either. Like, I thought it was fine. There were a fair few games I am genuinely interested in. So, overall, you know, as long as you want... It's a partner showcase. Honestly, I expect nothing from a partner showcase. So to walk away with more than nothing is kind of all I can ask for. Like, that's the most that you can hope for. Is just more than nothing. And we got more than nothing. So what did we get? I'm just gonna go in the order of the list I have. I don't think this is definitely not the order they talked about things in. This is just the order of the list I made. Disney's Epic Mickey got a remake. I'll be honest, out of all the games that could have gotten a remake, Disney's Epic Mickey was not one of them that I would have thought would have gotten one. Someone pointed out that, oh, wow, they're remaking Disney Epic Mickey. Oh, wow, people really asked for that. What about those Simpson games people have been asking for? And you know what? Fair point. I would love a remake of Simpsons Hit and Run. I fucking love that game. I know it's baby's first Grand Theft Auto, but it's a really good baby's first Grand Theft Auto. I would have loved a Simpsons Hit and Run remake. Nope, instead they're remaking Epic Mickey. Because I'm pretty sure THQ Nordic / Embracer Group owns all of those rights nowadays. Because this is being redone by, oh, what's the studio that's redoing it? They've remade a bunch of games. It's like a studio that, you know, kind of like Blue Point, has been just remaking games recently. So I'm just kind of surprised, you know? Yeah, Disney's Epic Mickey is a game I actually have fond memories of. Like, I remember liking it when it came out, because I was interested. I liked the concept, you know. You can either build or paint. You know, you can either, or paint or destroy, I mean. This was before I had ever played BioShock, right? Like, I had never played BioShock before. So, you know, a concept like this was brand new to me. And I was like, oh yeah, that seems like a fun idea for a game. And I liked it, you know. I know it's got some problems, but it's kind of like, there was a book series that I remember seeing on Disney Channel all the time that was like Kingdom Keepers, which was about like these people who were like fighting Disney villains, and I want to say they were in like the Disney theme parks or something like that. I don't know. I know Disney had a series that was about people in the Disney parks. But that was kind of what Epic Mickey was. It was kind of like, hey, what if there was like an evil, twisted version of the Disney parks? And, you know, we're going to reference all these things from, like, that Disney's kind of hasn't talked about in a while. Or Disney, you know, that were, like, old references. And there's, like, 2D platforming sections that take you through classic Disney cartoons. Like Steamboat Willie, that's now in the public domain. And I remember really liking the game. And I picked up the sequel, and the sequel was garbage. But let's not talk about that. So, you know, seeing it get a remake, sure, fine. You know, will it maybe be appreciated as a hidden gem? Or will it get the Sonic Colors treatment of everyone realizing that, no, the game was actually garbage? And, you know, when we were younger, we had a much lower standards. I kind of expect it to be the second one, but I'd be happy if it turns out to be a hidden gem. That'd be cool. World of Goo 2. I loved the original World of Goo. It's a puzzle game. I've played it. I never, even though it's famous on the Wii, right? It was a Wii game that was very famous. I never actually played it on the Wii. I had it on, I want to say, it was released on, like, the App Store, like the Apple App Store. I think that was the first time I played it. And I think I played it on Steam at a later point as well. I played through the game twice. That sounds right, because I know I played the other 2D boy games. Human Resource Machine, Little Inferno, the other one on Steam as well. So, yeah. But no, you know, it looks... The new World of Goo looks a lot like the old World of Goo. Not much has really changed. They've just added stuff, like... I'm assuming the graphics look... Honestly, the graphics look just like how I remember the original game looking. But I'm going to assume that's just nostalgia goggles. Right? That the remake actually looks really... That the original game does not look as good as I remember it. But no, I think it looks great. I'm super excited to, you know, go through the World of Goo one more time. That sounds like a lot of fun. Next up, Grounded. So we knew we were getting Xbox, right? There was all this talk last week about Xbox games. And, you know, Xbox put out their own podcast being like, oh, hey, guess what? We're releasing Xbox games. And, you know, they didn't actually say what they were, but it basically got leaked that they were going to be Pentiment, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, and the other one, Hi-Fi Rush. So, of course, right, we come into here, and hey, guess what? The showcase opens up with Grounded. And yeah, does it look a little... Does it definitely take a graphical hit on Switch? Yes. But I'm fine with it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I am fine with a game taking a graphical hit on Switch as long as it runs well. My perfect example was The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 definitely took a pretty big graphical hit on Switch, but it ran pretty well. So no. And I think Grounded as like a multiplayer game that you can play with your friends. It's got a, a somewhat cartoony art style. It's got, it's got a very family-friendly premise. Even if the game, has its darker moments. Like, you can find dead bodies throughout the game and whatnot. And then, of course, there's all the spider stuff, which... I don't know. The game has its merits. But yeah, no, I've heard decent things about it. Nothing extraordinary, but nothing terrible either. So I'm kind of interested in Grounded. Will I actually pick it up on Switch? Probably not. But, it's neat that it's there. The other one was Pentiment. I'll be honest, I know nothing about Pentiment. I know absolutely nothing about Pentiment. It is a game that exists that I guess is it's got some critical acclaim to it, but other than that, I literally cannot remember seeing this game before. But if it's got critical acclaim, good for it. Hi-Fi Rush was surprisingly not there. I was genuinely surprised Hi-Fi Rush wasn't there, because everyone was so certain that Hi-Fi Rush is coming to Switch. And I still do think it is coming to Switch, or maybe Switch 2. Right now, the rumor has shifted to say that no, it's not coming to Switch. It's coming to Switch 2. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But it's still kind of weird, But no, it literally... Later... So, right, the Nintendo Direct was in the morning. And then later that day, they announced, hey, guess what? Hi-Fi Rush is coming to PS5. So, yeah, it's still... And, like, we knew it was coming to PS5, so... Like, why didn't they also announce it for Switch? Like, this would have been again, I think the game makes sense on Switch. Again, it would have to take a graphical hit, because it is a very beautiful game from what I have heard. I have heard great things about it graphically. So maybe they're waiting for Switch 2 to get better, like a graphical upgrade or something like that. But I just kind of find it weird. Like, I would, if it's there, they definitely would have announced it today, because they announced it for PS5. Maybe the Switch version's taken a little bit longer, that's why they're waiting on that one. But still, it's just weird. Penny's Big Breakaway. So this is the game made by the Sonic Mania devs. It looked great. People played it at, PAX? One of those gaming expos. And everyone I've heard who played it loved it. I've heard nothing but amazing things about Penny's Big Breakaway. So, yeah, it looks like that has not changed. And the game shadow dropped that day. I have not picked it up. But, I've heard good things. I've heard good things. I'm glad people are presumably liking it. I guess it's got a good speedrun mode or something like that. But yeah. It looks fun. It looks fun. I loved Sonic Mania, so, whatever the devs are doing now. It sucks that they couldn't do Sonic Mania 2. That would have been fantastic. Because I definitely... Again, Sega has a big problem of making a good Sonic... Or making a good Sonic game that could be a great Sonic game, and then just never making that great Sonic game. Right? They always just start over again. So, yeah. There was Endless Ocean Luminos. I said it at the time, because we, live reacted to the thing. and I said it at the time, I know nothing about Endless Ocean. I'm pretty sure it's just, you know, a game where you explore the ocean. There's some sort of story relating to it. I remember something on a boat. Was there a popsicle involved? I don't know, something like that. The only experience I really have with Endless Ocean is watching Game Grumps play it at some point. Because I kind of remember Game Grumps doing the Wii Endless Ocean game. Because I think there's only like 3 of them. So yeah. Or I think this is the 3rd one. Maybe this is the 4th one. There's not that many. But, you know, this looks interesting, you know. I love seeing the Anomalocaris. I hope the title Luminos comes into play and you're going down to the deep, dark ocean. Like, there's like a bathysphere or something like that. And you get to go down into the deep, dark ocean and see, like, vampire squids and other, like, weird glowing fish. You know, an actual blobfish that hasn't fucking exploded. Like, blobfish in its natural... Because blobfish in its natural environment looks nothing like the corpse of blobfish that, you know, people normally depict it as. So I'd love to see an actual, like, scientifically accurate blobfish. That'd be neat. But yeah, you know, seeing the deep, dark ocean. I know there's a lot of fucked up shit in the deep, dark ocean. So instead, they're probably going to go for dinosaur fish, like the Anomalocaris. But I'll be honest, I kind of don't blame them. But hey, it's cool to see an Anomalocaris. You know, it's doing its best. And what else can you ask for? Oh, that was... yeah. I realized what they were doing a second too late. There was a bunch of rare games. There was a rare quartet. Honestly, like, they just kind of picked, like, oh yeah, these are the rare games most people forgot about. Like, I hear that Snake game has, like, the worst controls. I know the RC racing game is also really fucking hard. So, right, I haven't heard the greatest things about that one. The only one I actually recognize... Killer Instinct's okay. That is actually... The 2 that I had heard of. Because I've heard of Battletoads, but not that Battletoads. I'm pretty sure the Battletoads I know is different from the Battletoads that they showed here. Right, there's 2 different Battletoads. But no, the one they showed here, I have no idea. But I have heard of Killer Instinct. I've admittedly never played Killer Instinct, but I have definitely heard of it. You know, Pokemon Blue, Killer Instinct. And then the only other one I'd heard of was Blast Corps. I've heard Blast Corps is a great game. You know, it's one of Rare's mini N64 games, and I hear it's fun. I don't know, I've never played it, but you know, maybe I should. So we got that. But, you know, we're all just waiting on Banjo-Tooie. Well, okay, I don't know if anyone actually, like, really wants to play Banjo-Tooie. I think we just want it there for the purpose of having it there. Like, I don't know anyone who actually, like, really likes Banjo-Tooie. Because it's got some problems. But no, what people are really waiting for is Diddy Kong Racing. I'll admittedly say the same thing about DK64 that I would about Banjo-Tooie. Like, I'm sure there are people who want it there, but for the most part, like, is it actually that great of a game? Not really. But, you know, it'd be neat to see it there. No, the one I actually want is Diddy Kong Racing. You know, a lot of people consider Diddy Kong Racing the best racing game. I guess maybe the best mascot racer. Probably a better way to put it. Better than Mario Kart 8, better than Crash Team Racing. I don't know, I've heard lots of good things about it, but I've never played it. Because, you know, it's on the N64, and I didn't have one of those. But yeah, no, Diddy Kong, I hope it happens eventually. Like, come on, give us Diddy Kong Racing, man. You can clearly work together with Rare. And, you know, you want to get those games that aren't on the Rare Replay collection on Switch. So that'd be a cool one. And Banjo-Kazooie's already there. That's the other thing. Banjo-Kazooie's already on Switch. There was Star Wars Battlefront. I guess this is coming to other consoles as well. But, you know, it's cool. I loved Battlefront. I did really love Star Wars Battlefront back in the day. Specifically 2. I had both games, but I only ever played Star Wars Battlefront 2. Like, I really don't have many memories of the first game. But I remember loving the second one. And I played it a bunch. So, you know, seeing Battlefront 2 sounds fantastic. I'm definitely there. Hopefully. I don't know. I guess they've added some new stuff. I don't know if they've added any new maps, per se. I don't think so. But it definitely, I think they've added some new, like, characters or something like that. That's what it sounded like. And they did announce that it is coming to other systems as well. It is coming to PlayStation and Xbox and all that. We got some South Park Snow Day. Again, I just don't... It reminds me of an N64 South Park game. Like, there was a South Park racing game on the N64 that is pretty forgotten. And it did kind of use this, like, 3D art style. And that's clearly what this one's going for. And honestly, it just doesn't do much for me. Oh my god. Stay still. So yeah, an N64 South Park game. Nah, I much better liked what the Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole did, where they just actually replicated the show's art style. That was way more interesting. But, you know, it's a different company now, because Ubisoft made those games. And now the South Park license is in the hands of, THQ Nordic, Embracer Group. I don't remember the studio. It's a different studio now. Another Crab's Treasure was announced. It finally got a release date of April 25th. I'm super excited for this game. I do not like Dark Souls games, right? I'm not a Soulsborne fan. But Another Crab's Treasure looks very interesting. And it's got the accessibility options that all Dark Souls games don't have. But even some other Soulsbornes made by, like, other studios, you know, games like Liza P or The Surge 2? Right, they don't have those accessibility features. So actually getting those accessibility features is a great thing. I'm excited for that. But yeah, no, it looks very good, very funny, super charming. I just hope I don't really suck at it. Like, I hope I'm able to, that's Another Crab's Treasure is my gateway into actually playing Dark Souls and Elden Ring. Because outside of it, also on that same day as the Nintendo Direct, we got a trailer for the Elden Ring DLC. And I know people are super excited about that. I guess it looks great. And that comes out in, like, June. So, yeah, you know, people were freaking out about that. Next up, we had a Contra game. Nobody cares. I don't know. The last Contra, I want to say, was called Rogue's Core. And who cares? Pepper Grinder. Pepper Grinder is an Evolver Digital game. And it looks great. I know, again, kind of people who played the demo at PAX or one of those arcade expos really liked the game. So, you know, I know they released a demo right now, and the game comes out in March, near the end, March 28th. So, yeah, you know, it's Devolver Digital. They've done tons of great stuff. Oh. Yeah. The second I saw them flopping around, I was like, that's a disconnect, isn't it? Sukai game? The fruit stacking game that people were obsessed with for like 2 weeks is getting a multiplayer I would say multiplayer update. It's a multiplayer paid DLC. So, you know, people who are excited for that, yay, good for you. I don't know. Again, it was kind of a big thing for 2 weeks. I mean, I bought it even, and it was okay for 2 weeks, but I moved on almost immediately. Let's see, what else? Ender Magnolia? Honestly, I don't know if the game's a Metroidvania, but it kind of... the trailer kind of felt like, hey, what if Nier Automata was a Metroidvania? And that sounds fantastic. That, like, Nier Automata as a Metroidvania sounds amazing. So, maybe I'll actually... I know it's a sequel to Ender Lilies, so maybe I'll actually have to look into that one. Yeah. Super Monkey Ball. This is the first new Super Monkey Ball game. Not counting, like, iOS bullshit that nobody cares about. The first... And, honestly, this may even count iOS bullshit that nobody cares about. This is the first real Monkey Ball game in, like, 10 years. And people are really excited for that. I know some people are skeptical, and you know what? Reasonably so. The last Monkey Ball game wasn't amazing by any means. Because it was like because it's one of those series where it's like, how much can you really do with it? Especially after, 3 games on GameCube, 2 games on Wii. Right, there's only, like, eventually you hit a wall. Or at least I could see how you hit a wall without really, like, changing things up. Of course, one of the new things this new one does promise is a spin dash. They're adding, like, a chargeable spin dash to the game. And I think that's a fantastic idea. I totally feel like a spin dash could add a breath of fresh air to the traversal that allows you to do things that you couldn't normally do. I don't know. I like Monkey Ball. I picked up the remakes when they remade the game. When they remade, the first 2-3 games on Switch a few years ago. And I know people really... And I thought it was fine. I didn't admittedly put too much time into it, because I feel like that came out when a bunch of other things came out as well. It was like a very busy time period. But I know people liked those... Right, I know people liked the remake. At least I think they did. And then they remade the Wii game, which was, out of all the games you could have remade, I'm still not entirely sure why they remade the Wii game. Like, I totally get remaking, like, 1 and 2. And when they finally did it, it was like, yeah, that makes sense. But remaking the first one, really? Monster Hunter Stories is being ported from 3DS. I cannot remember if Monster Hunter Stories is the Pokemon game. Right? Like, I know there's a Monster Hunter game that kind of plays like Pokemon, and it might be Monster Hunter Stories, but it might also be something else. I might literally be thinking of a completely different franchise as well. But for some reason, I think it's Monster Hunter Stories. Someone did point out that Monster Hunter Stories had a Zelda DLC. There was like an Ocarina of Time DLC for Monster Hunter Stories. So hopefully that gets ported over as well. That'd be really cool. Because, yeah, it actually looked really... Seeing screenshots of it, it actually looked really neat. And I think a Pokemon DLC makes perfect sense. Another 3DS game that's being ported to Switch is on Pocket Card Jockey. So Pocket Card Jockey was a 3DS game made by Game Freak, the guys who do Pokemon. And it's a very, it's literally just solitaire meets horse racing. It's not much more complicated than that. But it's so much fun. It's a really fun game. And, it kind of sucked when the 3DS eShop shut down, because that was one of the games that was lost on the 3DS eShop. But then they ported it to Apple Arcade, and it was like, oh, that's cool. Hopefully they'll port it to Switch. And now, you know, it's probably been 6 months to a year later. They're finally bringing it over to Switch. That sounds great. And yeah, I have not picked it up, I will say. I did not. But I do plan on it. I do plan on picking it up eventually. Just, you know, not right now. I kind of had to spend money on a Splatoon DLC. Shin Megami Tensei 5 got a DLC. Or an enhanced edition. They did reveal that no, you cannot transfer your save file from the original Shin Megami Tensei 5 over to this enhanced port, which, of course, Atlas pulling an Atlas. I mean, yeah, it's Atlas. Would you expect any less, really? Let's see, what else? There's a Sword Art Online game I don't care about. A Fantasy Life game. The Demon Slayer Mario Party game, which is very weird and very random, but, like, okay. Honestly, I'm amazed we don't get more Mario Party. I've been watching Quentin reviews, Victorious, iCarly, Sam and Cat videos, and I guess Nickelodeon made a Mario Party game of those shows, as well as, you know, a few other things. That was, like, Nickelodeon.com exclusive, and it got me thinking, like, why don't more people make Mario Party games? Like, Mario Parties, you know... Oh, I thought we were barely out of range. Mario Party, you know, like, everyone makes a Mario Kart ripoff, but very few people make a Mario Party ripoff. Why don't we get more Mario Party ripoffs? Like, generally fair question. I know it... I don't know. Admittedly, people are very bad at making Mario Kart ripoffs, so I'm going to assume they're going to be equally bad at making Mario Party ripoffs. Yeah. And that was there were a few other things, whatever. That was the Nintendo Direct. And again, for a partner presents, you know, a smaller showcase that wasn't going to have any first-party games. Like, the only first-party related thing we got was Endless Ocean. Which I think is, I think, like, co-owned by Nintendo. Like, they own, like, half the rights to Endless Ocean. I don't know, there's some sort of complication there. But yeah, outside of Endless Ocean, that was it. And honestly, I know my when I was expecting a full Nintendo Direct, I had a lot more predictions. But after full Nintendo Direct got canceled, I narrowed it down to just the one. And honestly, I thought my one Nintendo Direct prediction was like, you know, this is kind of a stretch. And it definitely was, because it didn't happen. God, look at all that fucking Inksaber main. Holy shit. Okay, going off topic for 1 second. And, you know, we're pretty much done with the Nintendo Direct. I came across somebody earlier this week that ran nothing but quick super jump. All main... right, 3 mains and 9 subs of quick super jump. And they were just fucking... They jump in, get a kill, die, and jump immediately back in. Like, it was kind of wild. But yeah, no, I did see that. I played against them in tower control for like an hour. I don't think we were ever on the same team. I think we were always on opposite teams. But yeah, it was wild. So much fucking quick super jump. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say. If I had to give the Nintendo Direct a grade, I'd probably give it a B. B plus, honestly. Again, for this, I'm not grading it the same as I would a mainline Nintendo Direct. But as a Nintendo Direct partner showcase, yeah, you know, I'd give it a B. That's a very solid grade. So next up, PlayStation. So... earlier this week, it was the PSVR's 1-year anniversary. And right around, I think it wasn't on the day of the 1-year anniversary, but I think it was like the day after. they revealed that PlayStation is working on getting the PSVR 2, and I meant to say PSVR 2, right? It's the PSVR 2's 1-year anniversary. They're working on getting it PC support. So they're gonna, get support on PC, so that way, people who want to play PC games on PSVR 2, or, who want to play certain PC games with PSVR 2 will be able to. And I'm going to assume that with that, they're probably porting Horizon Call of the Mountain to PC as well. That would not surprise me if they do that at all. But yeah, so it looks like, but they're going to, they're just testing it right now. Probably going to get it out later in the year. And if I'm being honest, that makes perfect sense. One of the things I've said about PSVR 2 for the last year is that one of the things they really need to do with it is get Half-Life Alyx on it. Because, Valve's been open to putting their games on the consoles before. And I think having Half-Life Alyx would be a great get for PSVR 2. So the idea of now putting PSVR 2, making it compatible with PC, so that way this is how we get Half-Life Alyx, I'll be honest, that's one way to get around it, I guess. If that's how they're going to do it, sure. Because I do really want to try Half-Life Alyx, man. And, if I can... since I now know someone who has a PSVR 2, if I can use that to play Half-Life Alyx, sure, fuck it, I'll give it a try. What do I have to lose? But yeah, that's really the entire story. It's just like, hey, they're bringing PC support to PSVR. I'm sure there's a bunch of other VR games as well. I think they announced some new stuff as well. Could I tell you what any of those new games are? Because I think they announced new, first-party game, or not first-party, but, new actual PS5 games coming to PSVR 2. Yeah, no. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people turn on PlayStation in the past week. It's funny. Everyone was shitting on Xbox last week. And now this week, PlayStation puts out that statement saying, hey, guess what? We aren't actually getting that many new first-party games. We're not getting any new ones this year. And now everyone's turned on PlayStation. Yep, that's just kind of how it goes. Again, every day there is a main character on the internet. And the goal is never to be it. Last week it was Xbox. This week it's PlayStation. What else is new? So our last story for tonight is... next week there is a Pokemon Presents, right? It's Pokemon Day on the 27th. And of course Pokemon's going to do their showcase. So what do I expect from the Pokemon showcase? So I've got a myriad of predictions, and I'm going to rattle them all off. I only expect, of the next 3 or 4 things I mention, I only expect one of them to come true. I'm going to list 3 or 4 things. Only one of these 3 or 4 things are going to happen. Which one? Well, I have my likely. Let's do them in order from most common to, or most likely to least likely. So the most likely one, in my opinion, is Pokemon Black and White remakes. There's been a rumor that Studio Laika, who did Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, are also doing Black and White remakes. I've heard some people say that Black and White remakes aren't happening because then they'd also have to remake Black and White 2. And it's why the fuck do you think that? What makes you think that they have to remake Black and White and Black and White 2? Because guess what? Surprise, motherfucker. They can just remake Black and White 2 next year. Or 2 years later. Right? They can just do Black and White 2 later. They put out Black and White now and put out Black and White 2 later. That's just more money for them. I have seen several people suggest that maybe they're going to make Black and White 3. And honestly, I love that idea. I love the idea of hey, instead of doing Black and White a Black and White remake. What if we just do Black and White 3? I think that's a genuinely great idea. So there's no way in hell that's going to happen. Nope. I give that's probably like a 1% chance of happening. Whereas I think an actual Black and White remake done by Studio Ilka or whatever their name is has like a 90% chance of happening. Yeah, that's what I put that as. I think that is most likely just because, yeah, it's fucking, you know, they put out that game, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now? Of course they're just gonna fucking have them remake the other one. Right? Do we need Black and White remakes? No, we fucking don't. And guess what? Even though people want Black and White remakes, they don't want them by Ilka, even though, guess what? If Game Freak were doing them, they'd do the exact same fucking thing. Guess what? There's no way... I hope people realize Pokemon remakes are a lose-lose scenario. Whether you get your dream remake or not. Right? Like, the one prediction... I can make with 100% certainty that I guarantee you I will get right is that people will hate this showcase. No, even if they announce the best thing ever, you know, people would still be pissed off. Right? Pokemon fans fucking hate Pokemon. I expect nothing different. This is a lose-lose scenario. The second most likely thing is a Let's Go Johto game. You know, I liked Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It had some problems, sure, but I liked it. And, you know, a new game could fix those problems. And, you know, they remade Gen 1 for like a 4th time. They can remake Gen 2 for a 3rd time. Sure, fuck it, why not? I don't know. I definitely I think between, right, it's why do you play Pokemon? Do you like battling Pokemon, or do you like catching Pokemon? And I'll be honest, I prefer catching Pokemon. And the Let's Go games actually did a pretty decent job at making games about catching Pokemon. Admittedly, I think Legends Arceus did it better. Right? Legends Arceus took what Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did and fixed all the problems with it. So I'd love to, you know, see a Let's Go Johto game play more like that. But, you know, whatever. Again, Pokemon Go still makes $1 billion every year, even though people fucking hate that game. Honestly, it is one of the, like, you know, we always talk about how bad, like, Candy Crush is for its monetization. Pokemon Go is worse. Pokemon game is one of, like, the most oversaturated, monetized games ever. People fucking hate it. And they keep getting shittier. Like, every year it gets worse. Or they'll do something better, and then only make it temporary. Like, they'll do, like, a change where it's like, oh yeah, we want to make this change to, you know, as an accessibility feature for players. 6 months later, they'll remove it. Because it goes against their vision for the game. Like, fuck off, Pokemon Go. So yeah, but I do think it's likely to happen. You know, I think it's got a decent possibility. I put it around like a 50-50 shot. If I had to tell you what it's going to be, I think the one that made the most sense is Let's Go Meryl and Let's Go Togepi. That's the one that in my head makes the most sense. But the rumor is that it's going to be Let's Go Togepi and Let's Go Wooper. And to be fair, Wooper has seen a rise in popularity in the past few months. In the past 2 years, I'm going to say. Right? Like, Wooper is more popular now than ever before. Is he as popular as Togepi? Or Pikachu? Or, you know, could it just be literally Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee 2? And you're just playing through the Johto games with a Pikachu and an Eevee again? I would say that's more likely than Wooper. But who knows? Maybe I want it to be somebody different. I know Eevee and Pikachu are the mainstay mascots, but I just think they're kind of boring and basic. At least Wooper is interesting. That's the big thing I gotta give it. Out of all the choices, at least Wooper is an interesting one. But I don't know. I'm 50. I think it would make the most sense because, again, the original Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was, what, like 2017, 2018? It's been a long time, so them doing another one would make sense. So, but I still think a black and white remake is more likely. So I'd put it at like a 50-50 split. And then, of course, the third prediction that everyone really wants, and I'd be honest, I'd love if this happened. It's not going to happen. Is either a Let's Go Celebi game or a Let's Go Kyrene. Kyrene? You know, the dragon from Black and White. You know, the ice one. I love the idea of another Legends game. Did I say Legends? Did I say Let's Go? Another Legends game, right? Legends Kyrene, Legends Celebi. Genuinely, I would love another one of those games. Because Legends Arceus might be my favorite Pokemon game. But legitimately, I don't think it's happening. I would give it maybe like a 10, let's be generous and say 20% chance of actually happening. It just doesn't feel like, if they're going to do another semi-open world Pokemon game. Because I guess, everyone always says, like, oh, the Pokemon Company actually doesn't give a shit about the games. They'll just put out whatever garbage they want, and we'll still keep buying it as mindless sheep. People always say that. And, like, to an extent, they're right. But if you listen to every interview the Pokemon Company has put out since Scarlet and Violet, you get a feeling of remorse. That, no, there is an element that they do actually kind of regret putting out Scarlet and Violet in the state they put it out in. Right? There is a sense of regret, and that they are taking this seriously and want to do better next time. Could that all be bullshit? Oh, totally. But, like, it's not... If it was, like, one interview, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. But it keeps happening, and it's with different people, and it's not even like that. Like, it's also, like, people who are, like, have contacts within the studio who are speaking off the books. Like, even they'll say that, like, no, the Pokemon Company is taking it seriously. That they're trying to figure out ways to make the next game better. And while I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt, it would be nice. I do like me some Pokemon, if they're going to take this seriously. Because the one thing I will say about getting a black and white remake made by Studio Ilka or whatever the fuck they're called is that means there's more time to develop the next Pokemon game, right? That's a third-party studio doing a Pokemon game. That means the next mainline Pokemon game, be that a Legends Kyrene or whatever, gets more time for development. Gets another year at minimum. Hopefully another year. That sounds great. I'd love the next Pokemon game to get another year of development. And if that means we have to put up with a Studio Leica game that nobody really likes, even though, again, they're very faithful. Again, it goes back to the fact that, there's nothing technically wrong with the Studio Leica games. They're very faithful remakes. No, the problem is the original games kind of suck. And for all the people who are freaking out, like, oh, well, the black and white remakes, blah, 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 they're going to ruin it. No, they're going to make a faithful remake. So if the game's bad, then it's the game's fault. I mean, you can complain about art style all day, but when it comes to actual gameplay, like the fact that Gen 4 doesn't have a single fucking fire type in it, other than your starter and Ponyta, that's a problem with the game, not with the remake. Right? Would it have been nice if they had used the stuff from Platinum? Yes. Did they do that? Of course they didn't. So yeah. So those are the things I think are super... So that's the order, right? I think we're going to get a black and white remake. But if we don't get that, then we're going to get Let's Go Wooper and Let's Go Togepi. And if we don't get that, then we're going to get Legends Skyrim. It's going to be the black and... It's going to be the black and white remake. I'm like 90% sure. It just makes the most sense. Do we need a black and white remake? No. Is it going to happen? I think so. Again, I love that idea of a Black and White 3. I think that's a fantastic idea. And I would love... And instead of a Legends Kyrene, I would love for it to just be Black and White 3. I think that would be fantastic. Because the Legends brand, I don't need it to come back, you know? I'm fine with them doing something else, something different. And if they want to call that something else, Black and White 3, and it's, you know, an open world Unova game, fucking sounds great to me. I would love to see a fully explorable, like, New York City game. That sounds like a fantastic idea. But we'll just have to wait and see. Other things, the one actual thing I do want, especially if we're getting a Black and White remake, put the Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch Online. We've had Nintendo Switch Online Game Boy for about a year now. Give us the Pokemon games. Give us Red, Blue, and Yellow on Nintendo Switch Online. I bet there's going to be some sort of cost to it. Like, oh, you can only get one, or you have to pay an extra $5 to get access to it, but you get permanent access to it. Basically just making us buy the remakes. There's going to be some sort of fucking catch, but give us specifically Gen 3. Because, you know, the 3DS got Gens 1 and 2. Give us Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Give us Leaf Green and Fire Red, you know? You know, release Gen 1 for the 5th fucking time. Do it, Pokemon Company. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's a personal want. I would love the Gen 3 games on Nintendo Switch Online. I think it's possible. Not super likely, but I think it's possible. A thing we're definitely getting is updates on Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Cafe, Pokemon Unite, and Pokemon Go. I know they added Gen 9 to Pokemon Go recently, so they're going to do something... Right, we're going to get some sort of Pokemon Go update. I know they added Masquerada to Pokemon Unite. I still do not give a fuck about that game. Pokemon Cafe is still something that exists. And Pokemon Sleep, you know, add some new Pokemon to Pokemon Sleep. Those are all reasonable updates that I think are going to happen. I think all of those things make perfect sense. So yeah, we'll just have to, you know, wait and see. But those, I can basically guarantee, at least, I can see, like, maybe they don't mention, like, Pokemon Go, but I at least think 3 of those 4 are 100% basically confirmed. And the final thing, I'd love to see a Pokemon spin-off. You know, it's been a while. The Mystery Dungeon games, the Mystery Dungeon DX came out, what, like 3-4 years ago now? I would love to see a new... I actually don't really care for a new Mystery Dungeon game. Like, a new Mystery Dungeon doesn't really appeal to me. But I would love to see, I mean, I'd be fine with a Gen 9 Mystery Dungeon game. I guess I'd be fine with that. I also don't, I'll be honest, I know a lot of people want a remake of Explorers of Time, Explorers of Darkness, or Explorers of Sky. I know people really want that game, and I completely understand that. But I'll be honest, I'm not too over the moon for those either. Like, it's not that big of a deal if we don't get them. If I'm just being honest, like, I don't know, you know, it's funny, because I do like roguelites, but Mystery Dungeons aren't really the biggest appeal to me. Like, if we were to get a new Pokemon roguelite, I'd much rather see it be, like, a spin-off of, like, Battle Revolution, or a Pokemon Stadium roguelite, right? Like, give us something like that. I don't really need another Mystery Dungeon game. And then, you know, I'd love a Pokemon Pinball. I'd love a brand new Pokemon Pinball game with 9 different pinball boards, one for each generation. And, you know, you can catch JPEGs of all the Pokemon. I just think that sounds like a lot of fun. Because I do love me some Pokemon Pinball. It's not going to happen, though. And then I know there are other Pokemon spin-offs. You know, I could honestly see a remake of Pokemon Park, the Wii game. A bunch of other Wii games are getting remakes, like Disney's Epic Mickey. So I could see a remake of Pokemon Park. Not gonna, like, guarantee it or anything, but I think it's totally possible. Oh my gosh. And yeah, that's all I can think of. I mean, it'll happen next week. It'll be fine when it does, but yeah, whatever it is, there are going to be people who are massively disappointed because Pokemon fans fucking hate Pokemon. What else is... And guess what? The Earth spins around the sun. What else is new? You know? I legitimately thought we lost that one in the last 30 seconds. Yeah, I thought in the last 30 seconds, I thought it all went wrong. Oh my god. Okay, the snot from my nose drained down to my throat, and I couldn't breathe there for a second. And, oh my god, I had to cough so bad. Oh my god, I'm legitimately crying right now. Holy shit. Oh, look at those stickers. Those are kind of cute. Oh, I love the little... Oh, and I love the little Pearl and Marinas. I love the weapons on this one. Okay, those are some cute things. Alright, so we're going to do some Amiibo unboxing right now. Let me go grab those. Alright, so these are the two Amiibos we got. We got Sora, and we got Mio and Noah. I'll be honest, these got when these were delivered, it was raining. So I don't know if you can really tell, but the box is kind of like warped from the rain. You can't really tell. And then you have fucking our boy Sora over here. On Amiibo, I honestly didn't know if it was going to happen. I think there was a decent chance that this just straight up didn't happen. Because, it's got the little fucking Mickey Mouse right there. But no, it all kind of worked out. I have been sitting on these guys for like a month now. Because I was waiting for the Sora Amiibo. But here it is. We're going to open these guys up first. So I'll be honest, I think the faces are a little weird on these guys. But, like, what the fuck else are you gonna do, you know? That opened super easy, but you can tell it did because of the rain. Ugh. My face is so hot right now. You know, I angle the camera down to make it easier to focus. And it still just doesn't focus. Like, it's focused on my hand back here. God, this camera fucking sucks, man. Like, what else is... If you've been around long enough, you know that. This camera fucking sucks. I love the Xenoblade base with the X. That's neat. Alright, so here they both are. Ooh, oh shit. I immediately got stuck around the other one's arm. So, I'll be honest, I have not played Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I have no idea who these guys are. But hey, here they are. They made amiibos of them. And I was like, sure, fuck it, why not? I'll buy those. I wish there was a way I could focus this. Oops. I hit the wrong button. Wait, I had it there for a second. So I think it looks okay. You know? It's not a bad figure. And then the other one, Noah, I assume. I don't know. The face looks a little off, but I do like his version. This is basically the Monado, right? It's a version of it. I like that. You know, there's a certain Xenoblade Chronicles, like, you know, when you boot up the original game, there's like the with the sword sticking out of the ground. And someone remade that artwork for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I really wish someone would use this sword and remake it for 3. Because, yeah, that doesn't look terrible. Yeah, we got these two clowns. Again, I have not played the game. I know it's a great game. I'll get around to it eventually. But yeah. And then we have our boy Sora here. It's crazy that this happened at all. It's crazy that he got a figure. And yeah, it looks great, you know. I do think we are nearing the end of Amiibo. If I'm being honest here, like, I know there are still plenty of more things they can do, plenty of more things they will do. But I feel like once Smash Bros. Is done, like, what the fuck else is there, you know? So, yeah. Like, I don't know what else there is to do after this, but... God, you know, I never thought I would own a Kingdom Hearts merchandise. Not that I hate Kingdom Hearts, man. Like, I played the first game on PS2, and I loved that game. But I just never thought I would own Kingdom Hearts merchandise. Yeah, it's a good looking figure, you know. The hair's they've come a long way since Cloud when it comes to making spiky hair. The Cloud amiibo has terrible spiky hair. But yeah, that's the three of them. I hope that looked good. God, I don't know. Yeah, autofocus is awful on this thing. Yeah, Sora, this guy, and this girl. I do wonder if we're going to get more Xeno. I mean, if they remake X, I could see us getting Alma. Yeah, you know, it's cool they did them. I don't know, I have too many of these fucking things. And one day I will play Xenoblade Chronicles 3. One day I promise you I will do that. Just not today. Alright. Let's just back into here. Oh my god. Almost died there a minute ago. Holy shit. And I'm all out of water as well. Alright, let's go. Now let's just jump back into it. But yeah, Amiibos, man. They consumed all my soul and my money for, I think, 10 years now, at least coming up on it. And I'm finally done with them. Because that's a complete Smash Bros. Collection. Well, technically I'm missing the Famicom colored Rob, but I don't even know if they ever released that in the US. I don't know, I feel like I ran out of shelf space a long time ago. So what have I been playing? Well, I've been playing some Splatoon. Right, we're back up in S rank. I haven't actually done any ranked battles though, since kind of like always when I get back up to S rank, I don't really do many ranked battles. I mostly just do open. But so most of the time, right, I use the bucket. I finally got the 5-star bucket. So that was cool, and you know, I added the 5-star bucket to my splash tag. And I was immediately like, okay, well, what weapon's next then? Because I love the bucket, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm only good with the bucket in tower control. In every other mode, I think the bucket kind of sucks, if I'm being honest. Like, it does not, at least when I use it, it doesn't do great in Turf War, or not Turf War, in Splat Zones, doesn't do great in Rainmaker, and who the fuck plays Clam Blitz? So, or at least I've never had much luck with it. Right, the bucket does I do amazing with it in tower control. But in any other mode, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's pick up, right now, the basic blaster here is the meta, right? Double Zuka is the meta as far as I know. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll pick up the basic blaster. I'm not a big Zuka guy, but I'll try it, sure, why not? So I picked up this weapon. I've mostly only been using it for Splat Zones and a little Rainmaker. I actually had some okay success with it in Rainmaker. But you know, again, when Splatoon 3 came out, I really wanted to switch up the weapon every season. And then I eventually just found the bucket and never left the bucket. Around the time of, the first winter season, I picked up the bucket and then just never used anything else. Because, you know, the Tri-Slosher's pretty good. Most buckets are really good. I did try using the Dreadringer a little bit. It's okay. It's, I know the Dreadringer is okay, but yeah, I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just pick up the main blaster. It's at least better than the Splattershot Junior, right? The original is better than the Junior, at least. Oh, I ran out of ink. So I've been using Splatter Shot. So I've been using Splatter Shot here. It's going okay. I've been working on gear, right? You can see my weird bubble boots that have nothing but... The third slot is going to be bomb defense up. I can tell you, right, whether we get it tonight or not, I'm like 99% sure the third slot's going to be bomb defense up. Of course, I've only been wrong once so far. And I still don't understand how I was wrong. I was making the school uniform. And the first 2 slots went exactly like I expected it to. But for some reason, the third slot became, like, ink resist up. And I have no idea how that happened. I'm still confused as to how that became ink resist up. So, yeah. Yeah, I've been playing this game, you know, I'm excited for the DLC. We didn't play the DLC tonight, because even though it is a roguelike mode, you know, it's designed to be played over and over again, I actually learned from the Octo expansion that during doing something like in chat, you don't want to do a story-heavy game. The story really does, take away too much of your attention span. So that's why I've just kind of left it be. You know, there's a reason why and we did Mario Wonder, which I didn't focus on the story at all. And then in Turnip Boy, we just completely ignored it. It also helps that was all pre-recorded. But yeah, so yeah, I learned my lesson already, so we're just going to do the the Side Order DLC tomorrow. And I am excited to do it. You know, it's hopefully going to be a lot of fun. I've heard nothing but amazing things. You know, it's got some of the trappings that roguelikes normally do. But other than that, I've heard it's pretty great. And a good evolution. Kind of like how the Octo expansion was a good evolution of the story mode of Splatoon 2. I've heard that the Side Order DLC is a good evolution on just the concept of Splatoon. Like, hey, this is what Splatoon is. This is what we can do in the future. I've heard good things. And, of course, I'm excited to see Pearl and Marina's wedding. I've been waiting years now. I mean, what, 2017? I've been waiting for it. No, let's say 20. I'm going to be generous and say 2018. I really don't think the thoughts of them being in a wedding really entered my head until the Octo expansion. God, I'm excited for their wedding. It better fucking be in there. No spoilers, by the way. We'll find out. We'll find out the hard way. But it better fucking be there. Yeah, what else have I been playing? I've been playing that Mario and Donkey Kong game. You know, that new Mario and Donkey Kong game came out. And it's nothing, right? It's nothing like mind-blowing or anything. It is literally just the remake of a GBA game. But gosh dang it if I had a good time with it. I haven't beaten it yet. I think I'm in World, what? I think I just unlocked World 8. And I'm pretty sure there's 8 worlds, plus whatever the new bonus world is. So, right, like, there's still new stuff that I haven't even checked out yet. But of the normal world, I'm near the end of it. And I've been really enjoying it. You know, it's just a very solid game. Nothing like super special or anything. Just very solid. And I have been having a fantastic time with it. Yeah, no, it's, like, it is short. Like, I'm pretty sure I've only put, like, 3 hours into it so far, which is not much at all. Somewhere between 3 and 5. And, like, I will say that it's a short game. But for the amount of fun I'm having with it, yeah, because I've said before, I would rather play a 2-hour indie game that costs $15 over a $60 JRPG that lasts 100 hours. The 100-hour $60 JRPG just doesn't really do it for me. But, you know, a $15 2-hour indie game totally does. And I know this Mario and Donkey Kong isn't an indie game, and it costs like $50. but I'm still having a good time with it. So it's personally, it's worth it for me. It definitely will not be worth it for everybody, you know, who wants, you know, those longer games that, you know, they're fine paying the $60 for, you know, a 60-hour game. But that's not me. That is not me, and that is not what I expected from this game. What I expected is exactly what I'm getting, and what I'm getting is a good time. We totally lost this. So yeah, I have been having a good time with that. I definitely have to put more time into it, obviously. Plus I've got all the new levels. But, you know, so far, I have been having a good time. I really have been. Have I been playing anything else? Not that it's mostly just been Splatoon and that Donkey Kong game. I didn't touch Hades this week. Yeah, no, I didn't. So yeah, it's literally just been that. And admittedly, I have not touched Splatoon since the update released. The second the update released, I was like, nope, I'm just going to wait until the next time we boot up the game. I've admittedly also considered using the Nautilus. Like, I'm not a good, like, I've never really been a Dynamo guy. I tried them when they were first added to the game, but I've never really been a Dynamo guy. But I feel like, out of all the Dynamos, I feel like the Nautilus is the one that, you know, might be really good. Alright, so I guess that takes us to the last thing we got to talk about. So, what was it, 4 years ago now? Maybe 5 years ago? I remember the internet freaking out about a pilot that was put up on YouTube for a show called Hazbin Hotel. About the daughter of Lucifer making a hotel to try to redeem sinners. And at the time, I was just kind of like, whatever. Because I want to say at the time, The Good Place was airing. And The Good Place is one of the best shows ever made. Like, no joke. I put it, it's easily, like, I know it's the same people who've worked on, like, shows like The Office and whatnot. And shows like that, The Good Place is better than The Office. The Good Place is better than Friends. The Good Place is one of the best, like, TV show comedies ever made. And it's about the concept of, you know, people in heaven and hell. They don't call them heaven and hell. They call them the good place and the bad place. But the good place is just one of the best shows ever. So I watched the Hazbin Hotel pilot at the time, and I was like, yeah, this is fine, I guess. And that was it. That was kind of all I knew about it. I know there's the creator whose name I'm forgetting. It's not Vivian. Whoever created the show is super controversial. Like, they're one of those people where, like, just they have made so many enemies over the years. They're a super controversial figure. Like, I could not tell you what any of the controversies are exactly, but, like, I know they've just made a lot of enemies on all, right? Whether you're a hardcore Republican, right, you hate them talking about the Bible. If you're a hardcore liberal, you hate some of their talks about, right, sexuality and identity politics. They've made a lot of enemies, basically. And so, it's kind of one of those shows where it's like, I kind of don't know who I can trust to talk about this show, because I feel like they've made so many enemies. Like, that's usually not a good thing. Because I've said it before in the past. I don't care how the sausage gets made. I only find out how the sausage gets made if you fuck up. Right? Like Darren Nefesi, the person who created Star vs. the Forces of Evil, I literally did not know their name until right before the show wrapped up. Right before the season finale. That's how I treat most shows. Right? And it's usually only when you fuck up that I learn who you are. Right? Unless of course, they're really good. right? Like Rebecca Sugar. I know who Rebecca Sugar is, but not because they fucked up, but because I really like their show. But like The Good, alright, I just used The Good Place as an example. I, for the life of me, could not tell you who produced and created The Good Place. No fucking idea. Because I don't really care how the sausage gets made. Right? You really gotta fuck up for me to care. So, for me to know who this person is, that's a real fuck up. Right? Vivian? Madrano? I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. Vivini Madrano? However you pronounce it. I definitely know, right? For me to know who they are, even though I can't pronounce their name, for me to have heard about them, they fucked up at some point. That's not a good sign for me. And I know this show has, and I know there are definitely like the Republican controversy of this being about the Bible, and all the good people are, LGBTQ and they're living in hell. Meanwhile, all the assholes are in heaven and blah, blah, blah. And while the show's definitely a little bit more complex than that, because, not everyone in hell is good and not everyone in heaven is bad. The show definitely has a little bit of gray in there. It's definitely earned some enemies. So yeah, I kind of feel like honestly, this is one of those things like I don't even know if I should talk about. Right? Like, I'll never talk about Joanne's books ever, no matter what the fuck Joanne does, because, she's made enemies for life. Like, that's... Oh my god, fuck Joanne. But this one, maybe when I eventually find out what all the controversies are, if I ever do, maybe I'll never talk about the show again. But for the moment, we're going to talk about it, because the show, right... And I know about Hell of a Boss as well. I've actually kept calling this show Hell of a Boss. Because I've never seen that. I've never even seen the pilot for that show. I saw maybe the one clip where the teacher murders her husband. And, like, that's kind of funny, I guess. But other than that, like, I have not seen Hell of a Boss. I haven't really even thought about it. But, I know it's one of those... It's one of those things where it's like, you either love it or you hate it. And... yeah. So I know there's all this like furry shit as well that I don't even know how to comment on. That honestly, being a furry is fine. Right? The art style of this show and of Hell of a Boss, you can tell that the artists who worked on it are furries. There's nothing fucking wrong with that. Like that's one of the few I've actually heard about. And I'm like, there's nothing fucking wrong. I have no problem with the show's art style. Whatsoever. I think the art style is perfectly fine. Right. I saw someone being like, oh, in the pilot, you can see these two characters made eye contact, but the show's quality is shit, because now they're not even making eye contact with each other. Like, what the fuck is this? Man, this is like people getting mad at smear frames in animations. I think the animation in the show is fine. But yeah, the concept, daughter of Lucifer starts a hotel to try to redeem sinners. Along the way, hilarity ensues. They come across some crazy characters. A radio demon. A snake, a steampunk snake who commands an army of eggs. Cherry Bomb, who has cherry bombs. Lucifer himself, who is a short king. I did not expect Lucifer to actually be that short. I was kind of surprised by that. Other things that I can't think of off the top of my head. A TV guy. A moth guy who's who's an abuser. Angel, who I do not know if they're a boy, a girl, or neither. There was like halfway through the show, I was like, wait, is this a boy or a girl? And so I was trying to listen for pronouns, and I don't know if they ever even came up, if I'm being honest. Maybe I was just doing a shit job at listening, but even after finishing the show, I have no fucking idea. Right. Kind of like She-Ra, where the second I started to try to find out the chameleon's pronouns, They never said it again, and I was like, what the fuck? Come on, man, just work with me. And I know I could just easily Google it, but I'm not going to do that, because I think it's funnier if I just keep switching it every time. I want to say in the pilot, it was she. I want to say I remember correctly, the pilot, it was she. Also, I've been watching this show. I've been working on this show since it released, what, like 3-4 weeks ago, and I've kind of just been slowly doing like 2 episodes a week since then. Unlike Moon Girl, I did not feel rushed to finish this until the end. Like, by the time the final 2 episodes came around, I was like, you know, I really want to see how this ends. But yeah, so you start off, right, you're introduced to they're introduced to the concept. It actually takes place after the pilot, from what I can tell. Like, as far as I know, the pilot is still canon. Because I want to say the pilot was, like, her establishing the hotel, her making a deal with Alistair to fund the hotel. Something like that. There was something like that in there. So as far as I know, right, this follows up with the pilot, where, you know, she's working on her plan. She meets with the angels, you know, try to get the plan through, and they tell her to fuck off. I admittedly did not know it was a musical. Like, I know there's like one song that's like a Kesha song or something like that in Hell of a Boss, but I did not know the show was a musical. But if I'm going to be honest, I really do like the music. Not every song is super memorable, but there are some songs where I'm like, oh, this fucking great. The second episode, which Radio Killed the Radio Star. I fucking love that song, man. First of all, I love the song Video Killed the Radio Star. So already you've got me on the side. But the song in that one, Stayed Gone, I was like, yeah, this song is great, man. And I was like, you know what it kind of reminds me of? The Living Tombstone. And sure fucking enough, the Living Tombstone worked on this show. Like, hell yeah. That's great, right? That's great. So that's already another point in the show's favor. But, you know, you've got your colorful cast of characters. I do find the radio demon, Alistair, very interesting. Right? I love his whole bit with the Vox. Right? And that whole song is a lot of fun. What else? I will say, okay, so early on, right, the first, like, few episodes, they spend introducing the V's, right? The Radio Killed the Video Star is all about Vox. The next episode introduces they're not Velvet and Veneer. I think those were the characters in Trolls. Whatever the girl's name is, the next episode, right, introduces her and, like, the meeting with all the overlords. And then the third episode, right, follows the Moth guy, who I'm going to call Veneer because I cannot remember his fucking name. So I was like, oh yeah, you know, you're going to spit, like, these are, like, our, right, because again, not everyone in hell is good. So I was like, oh, these are, you know, our villains in hell. And we spend those 3 episodes setting them up. And then that's kind of the last, outside of mentioning the Moth one a few more times, that's kind of the last time we see them until the season finale, in which they don't even really interact with the main cast during the season finale. They're more just like watching it on TV, and you do get a really fucking funny line with, right when Alistair gets injured, and he's like, Vox is like, oh, this is so good, this is better than sex. I was like, that's fucking funny. That fucking got a laugh out of me, man. But yeah, like they spend like the first few episodes of the season setting up these characters, and then they basically just disappear for the rest of the show. Which, you know, I know, right, eventually they're going to come back, right, they're in the final song, talking about how they're gonna, like, take over hell now that there's a power vacuum. And it's like, okay, but, you know, I guess I'm more concerned because in the modern world, a lot of television shows get canceled almost instantly, right? Like, we'll see oh, boom, hey, look, there's this new show, isn't it really great? Oh, too bad, it's canceled. Right? Like, I think of another great animated show recently, Inside Job. got 2 seasons, and it was basically just 1 season that they split into 2, and it was like, oh, this show's fantastic, and then immediately got canceled. And even though the show Hazbin Hotel seems to be very popular, you know, it's kind of got a built-in fan base from the years of the pilot and from Hell of a Boss, I'm still worried, like, oh, it's just going to get canceled and all these set-up plot points are just going to get forgotten. Like, they spend 3 episodes setting up the Vs, and that's it, right? Oh, they're going to come back next season. Oh, well, what if the show gets canceled again? Like, fuck, we only get 8 episodes here. So that's a fucking mess. And it's the problem with all... Right, like, there was a thing that came out recently about how, old TV shows are more popular on streaming services than new TV shows. And it's like, of course they are. Right? Like, you know, at least new TV show... I saw a TikTok about this, where they're talking about how, like, new TV shows actually, like, they don't get finished, right? You'll watch a season or 2, and then they get canceled. But at least old TV shows, like The Good Place, have an ending that is really well done and really satisfying. So, like, even if this show goes the way of the dodo, which, at least for the moment, I'm going to say would suck, at least I have The Good Place, right? And The Good Place ends on a great note that makes me fucking cry my eyes out, man. What an amazing finale to a fantastic show. Go watch if you like this Hazbin Hotel even a little bit, go watch The Good Place. It's so fucking good. One of the best shows of all time. Let's see, what else? What's next? The Dad Beat Dad episode, right? Short King Lucifer. Him, right, just completely ignoring his daughter. And Alistair trying to, like, fuck with Lucifer. That was funny. Right? That was another great song. The Dad versus Dad, or whatever the fuck it was called. I love the Golden Fiddle, right? Of course, you had to get that in there somewheres. So I had great fun with that. Oh, 2 for the price of 1, and then I got killed. Yeah, and you know, all the voice actors, I should say, are great. I know that... Okay, so they got Keith David, and Keith David does a song. And it's like, fuck yeah, man, you got the guy who does Friends on the Other Side to do a song about how much of a fucking loser he is because he's a gambling addict. Oh my god, this is amazing. I want to say the guy who does Adam is the voice of Beetlejuice on Broadway. Is the guy who does Beetlejuice on Broadway. And it's like, fuck yeah, that's actually really cool. Like, you gotta... And I know one of the controversies with the show, another one of the ones I do know about, is that basically the original voice cast of the pilot was basically completely abandoned in favor of big name actors. And I could see how that's an issue, because basically everyone who helped make the show possible when it comes to voice acting was basically just completely abandoned to get a bunch of celebrities. Like, I want to say Vaggie is voiced by, is it Stephanie Beatrice? And it's like, that's a big name, right? And they didn't do the pilot. So yeah, I can totally see how that's a controversy. Is it the biggest controversy in the world? I don't know about that, but it's definitely a controversy, and I totally get that. But I mean, they got some good fucking voice actors, man. And they get good work out of them. What else? Yeah, they go to heaven, and I love how, right, heaven has, right, because you have Charlie down in hell trying to redeem sinners. And then you have Emily up in heaven, right, who's, like, trying to, like, question the system, being like, you know, this actually doesn't make any sense. Because, again, I like the idea of them being like, no, you know, right, instead of being like, oh, everyone in hell is good and everyone in heaven is bad. No, they're going to show more of the gray area of it. Like, that's important. And so having basically that version of Charlie up there is a good dichotomy. Matters how much they're going to do with it. Like, if I had one prediction for the next season, I would love to see an entire episode in heaven that, you know, follows this girl and shows, like, hey, what's going on in heaven as she tries to, like, uncover the truth. Her and Serpentius. Like, I feel like that's a very logical step to go. But we'll see if they actually do that. Because, yeah, you eventually get to the finale, And right, the armies of heaven come down. They figure out how to kill them. So we get this big epic battle, and it's a genuinely I really like the final battle. Right, Alistair going after Lucifer, Alistair going after Adam, and then Lucifer coming in to save his daughter. Vaggie fighting, I want to say her name is Lute. And, you know, them fighting each other. Because, you know, one of the things I picked up immediately was that Vaggie was an angel. Because specifically the that red X over the eye, and I noticed angels have an X over their eye. I picked up on that immediately. So that reveal didn't surprise me at all. But yeah, you know, that final battle all pays off. How Adam gets, right, they defeat Adam. But, you know, they're trying to show mercy, show that they're better. And then fucking Nifty comes in and just fucking kills them. That's great. But yeah, no, the final battle I think is actually pretty decent. The final song, The Show Must Go On, is I think a great note to end the season on. Them rebuilding the hotel. They set up the V's trying to take over hell in the next season. Alistair, right, trying to, basically he makes a deal with Charlie, and now he's going to try to find a way to manipulate this deal to take over control or whatever. Because, you know, Alistair starts off as the villain, but, you know, he warms up to the group eventually and comes to like them before he almost dies. And, right, that brush with death shakes him to his core. And now he's like, nope, I gotta go back to my old ways if I'm gonna survive. I don't know, I saw a thing on TikTok about some, like, conspiracy theory with the mom, and I don't know. Man, I don't trust theories anymore. Like, what's the point? I don't trust any of this shit. But, you know, I definitely saw some shit. Because, of course, it's taken up my TikTok, right? Right? Anything that's popular, of course, will just get all over my feed. Yeah, no, I think the final song is great. The three notes the show ends on, right? Them fixing the hotel and Alistair being like, oh, you know, I'm gonna find a way to get everything I want. Serpentius showing up in heaven. Great, right? Because I knew somebody had to die during the final battle. And out of all the characters to die, I think Serpentius makes the most sense. Because, you know, I kind of mentioned how they set up characters and then don't do much with them. Serpentius is, I think, a great example of that. He gets set up in the second episode. Then he, you know, has to spend some time with them in the third episode. And then he just kind of disappears until, like, the seventh episode, where he shows up having a crush on Cherry Bomb. And he's like, and then he buys everyone 2 shots. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to have sex with everyone in this bar. And he just gets dragged away screaming. That was funny. But yeah, the show has a problem of introducing characters and then just not really doing anything with them. So Serpentius being introduced and then dying in the final episode, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It was either going to be him or Cherry, because even though Cherry Bomb was in the pilot, she doesn't show up again until episode 8 or 7. So it was like one of those two had to die. Because they had to kill somebody. So that makes sense. But the twist of him showing up in heaven, I think, is a great twist. And then, right, the other twist of Charlie's mom being in heaven. So they're going to have to, you know, she's made some sort of deal. That's another good cliffhanger to end off on. The show's definitely setting up a lot. Oh, look at that little pearl thing. Oh, that's adorable. The show's definitely setting up a lot, but I'm genuinely interested to see where some of this goes. I definitely do think I'm going to watch Hell of a Boss now. Now that I've seen this, it just kind of makes sense to be like, yeah, I should probably watch that. Because I know there's a lot of, like, stuff with, like, the demon, like, classes and whatnot that's explained in that show that I have no fucking idea about, because they don't like, the only thing they really talk about in this show are there's sinners and overlords. And overlords are just stronger sinners, I think. That's what it sounds like anyways. I don't know. They're like, I do definitely think that the intro to this show of explaining, like, hey, this is Charlie, you know, she's building this hotel, is better than the intro in the pilot, where I think it's just like that, but set to music, and they don't fucking explain anything. Like, that was a problem. But overall, yeah, no, I liked it. I liked it. I'm excited for another season. Hopefully it doesn't take 3 years. But knowing stuff the way I do, it probably takes 3 years. I don't know. I would not be surprised if one of the controversies around the Vivzy Pop is they abuse their employees and they overwork them. I've been in the industry. I've known about the industry long enough to know that any independent creator probably does that at some point. I've seen Ruby. Okay, I haven't, but I know about Ruby's development, man. And it's just kind of the nature of the beast at this point. But it's a good show. I'm sure I'll find out all the controversy eventually. And hey, what did I say? My boots were going to get Bomb Defense 3. What did I say? Sure. So yeah, I guess that takes us to the outro. So what's coming up in the future? Splatoon DLC, obviously. Right, I don't know where. I'm assuming there's something at the station that we're going to go have to check out. But we will do that next time. Oh, tower control's in the open. Right, I'll mess around with that sometime in the near future. Or tomorrow, I mean. We'll be back tomorrow with that. Because I am excited for the Splatoon DLC. And then we have the Pokemon Presents next week. Huh. There used to be 2 of them, and now there's only 1. How interesting. I don't know if the new weapons are in the game. I swear I saw, or if they only get added when the season updates. Because I swear I saw somebody using the new Squiffer. But yeah, so we'll be back with that, and we'll be back with Pokemon. I don't know how long the Splatoon DLC is going to take us. I don't. It's a roguelite, so I guess it could take us theoretically an infinite number of times. But we'll see. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out how it works. I'm excited either way. Other than that, what else did we have? We had one other. I had one other thing to mention. Splatoon DLC, Pokemon. Oh, you know, speaking of, so the Splatoon DLC came out on Thursday, and on that, right, I kind of made mention last week that maybe I should go back and edit the original Splatoon 3 story mode into like a highlights video. So I did that. I took all 12 hours of footage and edited it down into just under 2 hours and put that up on the main YouTube channel. So if you want to see, right, if you want to blast from the past from about like a year and a half ago, I went through the original, I made highlights of the original Splatoon 3 campaign, Return of the Mammalians. And that's up on YouTube now. And then, of course, right after we finish this DLC, I'll make highlights of that as well. But it was just something where I was like, you know, I have some time right now. I might as well do this. And it only took like 12 hours. That's not too bad for an edit. But yeah, I got that up. I also, over on YouTube and on TikTok, I put up so there's the Tom Cardy song, Perception Check, right? Which is the, I rolled a 1, fuck. Right? That, if you've ever seen that clip before, it's that song. And as I was going through the edit for Splatoon 3, there's a certain scene where Frey uses a wind, some sort of wind instrument, like a pipe or something. And I was like, oh, you know what? That kind of reminds me of the Tom Cardy song. So I then put together a short, like 24 second edit of that song to deep cut. So right, it's Frey, Shiver, and Big Man to that song. And I think it's very cute. Honestly, it's one of my favorite like little edits I've ever done. And that's up on TikTok. That's up on YouTube. And I do plan on making an extended version that is the whole song. Right. I have some ideas for like how I would do the whole song as like an actual like YouTube video. But I just did like the specifically that bit, the I rolled a one, fuck. And so I think that was cute. Yeah, those are up, right? Go check those out. But for now, this is where we're going to end off, and tomorrow we will be back with Side Order. I've been waiting all week. I'm so excited. But I've just kind of, who out here citing the order? We just kind of got to wait. But I'm excited for whatever it may be. We'll be there. Do I have a time? No idea. Sometime around noonish, probably. Noonish Central Time. Maybe. Yeah, with that, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.